Hello all! Today I'm going to do an after-action report and a brief discussion of gameplay of the Battle of Wyse Fork. This is the second Battle of Kinston. This is a BMG or Bill Molyneux game from Bill Molyneux Games, and I want to thank him for sending this to me. I've covered quite a bit of his stuff. Take a look at my playlist for BMG or for Molyneux, either the publisher or the designer, and you're going to find this there. I'll also put a link to my unboxing in the description. This is produced by Blue Panther, which is a third-party sourcing agent, and so the counters in the map and the rules and the player aids are all done by Blue Panther. So what is this battle about? Well, this is the second Battle of Kinston. And this is basically a situation where take the cover off here. This is how it ended up. And basically the situation is the Confederates are kind of entrenched along this line here, kind of holding these bridges right here. And there's a boat that they have over here, a combat boat. And the Union is going to come enter the board either in A, B, or C over here, and you're going to roll a die for when they enter. There's a certain number of units that come in on the first turn, then on the third turn, then on the fifth turn to come in, and then in these turns right here that has CSA, the Confederates are going to attack and try to take over this spot down here. But as you can see here, it's supposed to go 15 turns. I ended it at 13 because it was a complete and utter rout of a situation here. Had some pretty good rolls and not so great rolls for the Confederates, and probably didn't. I had the Confederates in a defensive position, and they kind of held that defensive position, but when they had to start branching out to try to attack down here, that didn't go so well. I also used the optional rules for Bragg, which Bragg is a kind of a random soldier. Let's see, where is he at here? He's a random guy, so you're going to roll the dice and see if he gets a +1 or nothing or a -1 to the column shift. Leaders in this game give you column shifts. So probably didn't. I played this two-handed, so I probably did not play the Confederates as strong as I probably could have. But man, the Union really had some good rolls, and they came in the first the turns 1 and turn 3. They all came in through B here, so they basically made a beeline up this road. Put some artillery on this hill, and then just started pounding across this bridge and the rail bridge here. They set out a little bit of a scouting force and took over these areas. These are victory point areas for the end of the game. And I didn't see that in the rules that you had to keep occupying it, so I treated it as if you passed through it, you got it. Or if you ended a turn on it, you got it, but then you didn't have to stay there. I don't know if that was clarified in the rules. I didn't see it, but I did this. I played the Union, the Confederates the same way with that rule, but the Union has a little bit more advantage because this is all victory points for the taking, for the picking over here. There was supposed to be a victory point. Did I move it? Should have been a victory point here, because they end up getting Cobb's house. Well, I guess they wouldn't. They would have got it by turn 14. So if I go 14, they would have had Cobb's house there. Anyway, so that's the situation. They pretty much kept pounding over here and pushed them back. There was a strong force. Holt's force went over here to try to outflank them and provide some relief, but there was enough of a stopgap here of a Union force that held at this bridge. There was a lot of back and forth on this bridge, and eventually took this artillery and brought them into the fray to kind of unseat them. And then they kind of came back here, took over Cobb's house to have some victory points, but then they were chased down. Eventually, for I think it was turn 5, so turns 1 and 3 came through B. Turn 5, the forces came through A. And since Hoke was over here fighting here, these were able to kind of break in and finally bust through Jackson's Mill here. And then it became a backfield type attack. And then these forces over here were able to join that attack and knock it out. There's also, as I said, there's a boat or a combat boat. Let's see, that got knocked out on turn 10. When you get within 2 hexes of it, on the Noise River or Noose River, you roll a die, and it either fights as normal, or it blows up, or it's captured. And in this case, it blew up. Blew up, sir! Blown up, sir! Yeah, there you go. So it blew up, and so that's what happened. So this was a complete and utter rout. Now, I'll pick it up again and try to focus a little bit more. When you play stuff two-handed, it's kind of hard not to be completely unbiased on some stuff, but I was trying to rally the Confederates. I just didn't really understand their defensive position as much as I probably should have. They do get a benefit of +4 to this entrenchment here. That helped out, but once they were able to, the Union forces were able to bring enough to, multiples to bear to get their advantage on the charts. These are all the casualties. The Union lost another unit. They actually lost the first 2 units on turns 2 and turn 3, but you have, and during night turns, you have a chance to rally. So you can rally. If you roll like a 1 or 2, you get a eliminated unit back. If you roll a 3 or 1, 2, or 3, you can get a step back of something that's a step loss. And the Confederates got some of that as well during night turns, but it just didn't help them out. They weren't able to get any eliminated units back. As I said, it rolled pretty bad for them. But that's the die, right? There's also, the Unions can put down some entrenchments on, I think it's like turns 4 through 5, I think. I ended up not really doing that because they were on the attack, and they, the Confederates really didn't mount much of a attack to go down to Wyse Fork, so I just kept the offensive up there. So anyway, so there you have it. That's the result of the game. So how does the game play? It's pretty standard hex encounter fare. It's not a very complicated game. You have a terrain chart that explains all the different features and how that works. And then you have your it's 3-0, I think here is the sequence of play. You get deploy reinforcements, which are the Union forces, and then you've got Union movement, Union combat, Confederate movement, Confederate combat, and then victory determination. So that is relatively simple there. There's a move, there's combat. Most of the combat is adjacent. If you have some artillery, then you can do range combat, but if you're outside of 2 hexes, then you're going to have the effect. And everything uses this combat results table. As you can see here, it goes 1 to 3 versus 6 to 1. It's all odds based, and you can have retreats. And when you have a retreat, like let's say this DR1, that means the defender retreats 1, but also loses 1 step. And the most you can stack in a stack is 2 units. So if you only have 1 unit there and you lose a step, then you're down to your last step. If you're already reduced, then you're going to be eliminated. Leaders can move around. They got 6. If they're ever in a hex alone, then they get eliminated, and that's all the leaders ended up getting running around and eventually lost out there. Well, again, this was a complete route. I might have messed up that rule a little bit, but otherwise this was generally a complete route. So there's the odds tables. You got a terrain chart there on the back as well. There's some, as I said, there's some special rules about Bragg. There's some special rules about the Noise River, or the battle the battle boat on the river. Other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. You have these victory conditions. So, I mean, this was a complete rout. So I'm not even going to add up all the victory because you get one for every destroyed unit, and there was plenty of destroyed units. You capture church building, you get one. That's the church right there. The plantations right here. That's worth 2. The mill is right here. That's worth 3. If you destroy the CSS Noise, you get a 3, which what happened? It blown up. If you capture the rail victory control hex, I believe that's this. So I don't know. I that's unclear. What's the rail victory control hex? I assume it's that one. Um, that you have this D here as well, but I assume it's that one. I didn't actually capture because I didn't move into it. I guess I could have moved into it on turn 14, so I guess I would have been in there if I would have done that. And then capture the Wyse Fork hex, which is worth 5. That's here. And basically you capture that right off the bat if you come in through that hex, which I had two groups go through that hex. And then for the Confederates, if the noise survives, you get 5, and that's it. So, relatively, other than that, some of the victory hex, I don't know what this is for, the D, and I assume this is the control hex. Other than that, that's the only thing I really didn't understand or couldn't find in the rules, but maybe I didn't look hard enough. Anyway, that's what that is how this game plays. This we can look at some of the casualties over there. If you want to see all the gore. Yeah, I was pointing to it and you didn't see it. Yeah, the Union lost forces on these 2 turns here. Anyway, I like it. I want to thank Bill for sending this to me and Blue Panther for producing it, and whoever between the 2 of them getting it to me. Again, I'll put a link to the unboxing. I'll play this again. This is not too hard to set up. It does not take too long to play. I really would like to play this opposed and see, and I'd like to take the Confederates and see how this works out. The Union do seem to have the numbers in this, at least through the strength point count. Anyway, and it's about the leaders. Last thing about the leaders is leaders have anywhere from Bragg, who's a question mark, to +1 to +2, and that's a shift. So if you end up with a 1-to-1 odd and you have a leader leading the attack, it goes to 2-to-1. So they get column shifts, which is pretty powerful. So leaders are pretty powerful in this game. Anyway, I rattled on too much. There you have it. That's the Battle of Wyse Fork. Interesting. I like the production. Everything looks nice. Everything's clear. And I had a good time with it. Thanks all. Thanks for watching.